94 Rocks The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And this band, not a surprise, not a secret. This band has been a staple of The Dark. And tonight I'm talking to the lead singer of the band, Silvertung. Speed is on the phone. And first of all, it has been a while, Speed. How are you doing?
Jay-Z, it has been a while, man. Thank you so much for having us back on, man.
Hey, I really wanted to touch base with you here. First of all, really excited because you've got a brand new single out called Integrity, which we're spinning here on 94 Rocks. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But what has been happening with Silvertung recently? And now the last time you were here, the last time we talked was in 2019. You obviously played a local show here. I know you had a great time on that. But then, obviously, this thing happened called COVID and a pandemic happened. What did it do to the band Silvertung?
Wow, lots to unpack there. But long story short, once the pandemic started to hit, regulations started to go out because we had like 3 months of touring ahead of us and opportunities of touring overseas. And then once the regulations hit, it was like one show after another just kept getting canceled. So then the band kind of decided, maybe it's time to move on. So I was pretty much faced with the biggest, I would say the hardest decision to make of my music career. And I decided to keep going, man. So fast forward to now, I put the band back together, and we are now writing brand new music. So, and Integrity is just the beginning, man. I'm just getting started.
Well, that's great to hear. So let's talk a little bit about the pandemic and then. Obviously, it ripped apart a lot of things in the world, including the music industry, including bands and stuff too. So unfortunately, you were kind of a casualty, I guess, of the pandemic, but now you are back rocking once again. Is that kind of what it lays down to?
100%. I've watched family members, friends. They've all people aren't even talking to each other anymore. It's a crazy time. I've never experienced a pandemic before in my entire life, so this was all new to me. So, getting the after effects of it, you kind of have to make a decision. Do you continue on, or do you just, you stop? And I've seen so many crazy things happen to people that I know and people that I love, and just, friends, even friends. It's totally insane. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen something this big to stop the music industry from moving.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I've talked to so many bands in the last few years, including during the pandemic, and it just affected everybody differently. It really kind of depended on where the spectrum you were in your music career. Now, if it was a band that's been established, it was an opportunity for them maybe to do something different. But a young and up-and-coming band like Silvertung, which actually I think, if I'm not mistaken, Speed, you guys had a lot of momentum going your way, and then all of a sudden this just basically halted it, didn't it?
That is exactly what happened. I mean, we were climbing that ladder. The name was becoming huge all over the place, all over the world, as a matter of fact. And then when the pandemic hit, everything stopped. So 2 years of nothing equals nothing.
So I guess the question I got to ask is, you recently came out with the song Integrity, and right away I said, hey, Silvertung, they're back. Awesome. And I guess as me, obviously, I've been a faithful supporter of this band from pretty much day one, at least when I found out about it. But how are other programmers out there in rock radio and that? Do they remember the name Silvertung? Are they jumping on board? I guess, what's it like today?
It's the water's warm, I'll say that, but there are a lot of even producers and radio DJs. There's a lot of people that aren't even doing that job any longer.
Yeah.
A lot of people. You're one of the faithfuls, but you're also one of the guys that kind of stuck through the hard times, and we're kind of doing the same thing. So we have a lot in common there.
Yeah.
But we're meeting a ton of new people. One is because we haven't been out there in the big scheme of things. So there's a lot of people saying, "Man, I've never heard of Silvertung," but I don't understand why I haven't, because the music that you guys have is blowing me away.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
Unfortunately,
like,
yeah. Speed, I hear that all the
you know,
time from bands, man. It's like, this, and I'm a firm believer of it. I sit here, get music from these bands, and I'm like, this is an amazing song. And, it all depends on how you judge success. But, if you're filling up a nice, 1,000-seat venues, or if you're getting into the top 30, 40 on the charts, it all depends on what you feel as your successful thing. But, yeah, there's bands that really seem to be overlooked in our industry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I believe that Silvertung is one of those bands. Like we stated, we had a ton of momentum behind us. I mean, it's nothing to our fault or anyone else's fault. It's just one of those things. Again, I think this is where I had to decide this is going to be the biggest decision that I make in my music career. And I still have too much drive. I have still too much music that I have inside of me that needs to get out. And integrity is just the beginning of this.
Yeah, let's talk about the song a little bit. And, of course, you've got a new lineup in that, and a little bit different sound from what I'm used to in Silvertung. Would you agree on that?
Absolutely, 100% agree. I think the new sound that we're coming for is the whole idea that I had coming off the last album. We try to reinvent ourselves each time to write better things, and create better music, create better stage shows. So when you have to go through reforming a band, you almost have to start all over and just kind of like take one baby step at a time.
Totally.
And honestly, that's where integrity came from. It came from the whole idea of the pandemic and watching people separate from each other, and the band, walking away from myself. One thing that I've learned through the years is, these things happen. Bands break up and members change all the time. But one thing that I don't care what members in your band, one thing that can never change is your integrity. Only you have that power to change that. You can give away your love, you can give away your trust, you can give away your respect to people, but the one thing that never changes unless you change it is your integrity.
True to that. I agree with that. We're talking Speed from Silvertung. Of course, they've got a new song, Integrity. We're spinning here on 94 Rocks. And you recently were just doing a little touring, I think, here, and going to go back out again. But I think you were recently up in our area not too long ago, weren't you?
We absolutely were, and I was hoping to be able to reach out to you during that time, and it didn't happen. I did try, but the cards just didn't fall the way we wanted them to. But we are going to be coming back out that way again in June and July, so we're really excited for that. But this tour that we just did was pretty exciting. It was good, groundbreaking for us. One thing that I'm realizing, unfortunately, one of the things that comes from the pandemic is I still think people are a little hesitant on coming to shows and being in the mix of big crowds. So if there's any bands out there that are facing the same thing, don't lose the faith. I think it's all coming back. This is just something we've got to go through.
Yeah, I also think that it might be kind of the certain areas that you go. I think some areas maybe a little bit more cautious than other areas. I think that's kind of the way it was during the pandemic itself. So I could see that definitely, where you would be in certain areas that maybe are less of a crowd that you're used to. So, but still, it seems like the people are wanting to see live music, and I I tell you what, we talk about it on this program all the time, that the number one thing is going to a live show, because that's where really, truly you find out about bands like yourself.
Yes, 100% agree with that. And again, just getting out there, like the Midwest, us being from the East Coast was pretty much shut down and locked out. But even just coming out to the Midwest, it's pretty amazing to see the responses that we're getting from people that have never heard of the band. And that was kind of my true test. I know last year we did a tour with Smile Empty Soul and Tantric in the Midwest as well. And the response that we got from that kind of blew me away, because I was not expecting the way people responded to our music, because we were the opening act.
Right.
We were the band that, if you made it there early enough, you saw it. The amazing thing is there were tons of people that were out early, and I really think that helped catapult us into where our vision of things today and the way we're thinking about the future now. So kudos to Smile Empty Soul and Tantric for having us out there with them. So
yeah, that's great. That is awesome. And I know you've got a tour still going on here a little bit, and then you're eventually, as you mentioned, going to make your way over here. And I'm excited because we are a media partner of that big event over in Cadott, Wisconsin called Rockfest, and you are going to be there. It looks like here the date you'll be there is on July 15th, the final day of the event. That is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, I cannot wait for that. 3 years ago, we did the opening on the main stage, and we got a ton of response from them. And honestly, at that point, I had fill-in musicians.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, we had a contract with Rockfest, and even if we didn't have a contract, that was my obligation, and I was not gonna default on my obligation. So I hired some friends of mine. They were super, super excited to go out and do a huge show like that. So we put together a small run, and the response from Rockfest was amazing. So 2 years later, we're coming back, and this is going to be even bigger because we have so much new music even by that time, and I'll let a little cat out of the bag on this one. By the time we get to that, we already have a new song in the chambers.
Nice.
Waiting to fire off.
Very so. And you'll definitely hear it right here on 94 Rocks first. We will definitely have that. Right, Speed?
Absolutely. This station freaking rocks.
Awesome. Of course, Silvertung, as I mentioned, going to be at Rockfest. I just looked up. You're going to be 140 to 225 on the, it looks like the Who's on Top stage. That's a great stage. You can get right up front and personal with these guys, so you don't have to have VIP or anything. And 94 Rocks, obviously, as I mentioned, we're a media partner. We're going to be giving away passes in the next couple of months. We've got lots of passes to give away, so there's no reason why you can't go see Silvertung over at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. I know we got to get going, Speed, but I guess I want to give you the platform here, the final few minutes or whatever, just to let us know how people can find out about Silvertung and all that good stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. And all you got to do is go to silvertung.com. That is SILVERTUNG.com.
That's right. And if you want to go back to some of the interviews that Speed and I did back in the beginning, you can check that out on our YouTube page, The Dark and 94 Rocks, and you can figure out the real name, why it all came about, because it was that porno in your uncle's basement, right? That's what it was?
Yes.
Exactly. So if you want more about that, go back to the old interviews we did X amount of years ago, okay?
Absolutely, man. It was a great time back then, and we're going to keep those great times rolling. And just to let everybody know, man, we're just getting started.
Awesome. Hey, Speed, great talking to you. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm excited to see you at Rockfest coming up here in July. And I'm excited about it, not only see you, but also maybe we'll have some freaking warm weather finally, because we're supposed to have another 4 to 8 inches of snow, it looks like now this weekend. So go figure.
Ooh. Oh, that's crazy. Yes, let's wish for the warm weather, man. Let's wish for the warm weather.
Once again, that is Speed, lead singer of the band Silvertung. Their latest song is called Integrity. You're hearing it right now. It's on The Dark. It's on 94 Rocks.